Don't put your finger in my face.
Call the police. Call the police. You just hit me.
I sure did. You get out
just
of my
hit me.
face.
I was in your face.
Welcome to Crockett, Texas.
You get away.
This is the current state of affairs in a town named after one of the heroes of the Texas Revolution. Davy Crockett supposedly camped here on his way to the Alamo.
You get away.
Ain't nobody in your face.
Hey.
She hit me.
Wonder what he would think of all this.
Republic. I like the sound of the word. Means people can live free, talk free, go or come, buy or sell, be drunk or sober, however they choose.
We were only in town for a couple of hours before we were eyewitnesses to that racial divide that is sadly turning physical.
She needs to go to jail.
I'm not going to jail.
Yeah, I'm sure you don't think you
I'm not going.
Inside City Hall, the mayor ran from our questions after a meeting of the city council that ended even before it started. Mayor, this is embarrassing for the city. People walking away from like simple questions.
Yeah, like why are you walking away?
Why would you do that, Mayor? This is really not the right play. Really? Okay.
Same rules apply. You're not allowed to come back to this location. If you do, then you'll go to jail for criminal.
Okay. And we broke a new record for Dolcefino Media for police criminal trespass warnings. We got 2 in less than 15 minutes. So for the rest of my natural life, I can't go to this councilman's home when he's a chicken and won't show up.
Unless he...
All because we were searching for something we like to call accountability. And it's sorely absent here.
Everything the citizens had said was right.
Inside the Moosehead Cafe, the frustration runs deep. And who can blame these folks? There is a generation of flawed and failed Crockett public officials.
I get very frustrated when I look at this because there's so much money wasted and unaccounted for.
At least $18 million has been spent by the city's Economic and Industrial Development Board since 2010. Millions more in loans and grants. Records on where some of that money went are simply gone. Which is a pretty big number.
For a town this size, absolutely. It was stunning.
Former investment banker Cheryl Wood has crunched the numbers. And now there's a forensic audit paid for by Crockett taxpayers that lays out the clear government negligence in 80 troubling pages. Incompetence, waste, nepotism, evidence of fraud. It is a concoction we see a lot, and it usually stinks of public corruption.
You will find that I'm the most experienced prosecutor.
She talks real tough, but why is the longtime district attorney Donna Casper now hiding from us, accused of abandoning the folks who exposed this crock of crap? Casper retires at the end of the year. Maybe she should leave early.
And she said, well, from what I have tonight from the forensic audit to what I have on my desk, I've got enough right now to bring him to the grand jury and get an indictment. She never, ever did.
I said, Donna, we elected you to do what's right in this community. And you threw us all on the bus.
The former justice of the peace is Clyde Black, and he asked for the names of the grand jurors, public record, hoping one of them would do what the DA has failed to do, like launch a real criminal investigation with the hard evidence right in front of them in the audit.
The DA refused to give me the names of the grand jurors, where or when they met.
It is that kind of frustration that resulted in a call to us.
It's sad, the money that has been wasted that could have been used in other places. We don't have a workforce here.
News of our planned visit made the local paper. Longtime watchdogs in Crockett were simply fed up. And here's why.
Rescind any implied or actual suspension.
Last May, the Crockett City Council wanted to put the controversial director of the Economic Development Board back to work. For a year and a half, James Gentry and his assistant had been on paid administrative leave. That itself is absurd. Gentry was paid to do no work at all, while the books of the agency he ran were examined. And it wasn't the first time that big red flags would be found.
He got caught 3 times with signed blank checks in his drawer that were unaccounted for in any of the bookkeeping.
The evidence is overwhelming. A financial mess that didn't start with Mr. Gentry, but was certainly allowed to continue to flourish under his watch. The audit is scathing. Hundreds of credit card expenditures, bank records, checks, unaccounted for, unexplained loans, possible misuse of funds, nepotism exposed. Get this, the audit revealed that Gentry had given the job of mowing property owned by taxpayers to a new company when he took over. The guy who ran that company was his wife's cousin. And guess what? The cost of mowing the 15 properties the CEIDC owns skyrocketed.
If you don't clean it up, you will have the same mess.
The city council hadn't even heard recommendations yet on how to fix the place, even if it can be saved.
I think wisdom would say to us tonight, we should table this until we get the conclusion from our legal counsel.
But wisdom, logic, none of it mattered.
At this time, we're up for the vote. All in favor? The motion is carried.
And some of the council members who wanted to give Gentry the right to go back to work, well, they had actually served on the same economic board now accused of all that mismanagement over the years. So they share the blame.
You think they're all buddies?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I do.
As a whole, the community, they want it dissolved and maybe start completely over.
The vote was 3-2, and it was impossible not to see. It came down on racial lines. There is a new black majority on city council, and revenge, it appears, is in the air.
There's one person on there, and that's Daryl Jones, and Daryl is definitely pushing race.
An open mic before the meeting caught this gem from another councilman, Elbert Johnson.
Ain't nobody care about me and my business. I'm supposed to come up here and care about y'all, man. Forget all that, man. Forget that, bro. Don't come at me like that, dog.
You could cut the tension in this room with a knife.
And it has nothing to do with race. It has to do with what's right and wrong.
It's not about black and white, not about Republicans or Democrats. It's about what's right.
We met Oscar Henderson outside Crockett City Hall. He's the mayor's brother.
We're making headlines for the wrong reason. I've seen a lot of things here, good and bad, but this is the worst.
As we spoke, a fight broke out just a couple of feet away.
No, ma'am.
There had been a standing room only crowd inside council chambers just minutes before. Lawyers were set to detail how to try and fix the mess, and I was ready to give the council an earful. Here's a preview of what I was going to say. Taxpayers in Crockett, they spent $150,000 for an audit to confirm what they've been screaming about for years. And this Gentry guy, he had been told more than once he was screwing around and didn't stop it. Sure, the cast of public servants who are guilty of negligence in this town, well, it's a long one. The audit showed that some CEIDC board members even took money meant to improve the city of Crockett to give themselves Christmas bonuses.
What the
There has to be some accountability. Gentry must go. For the sake of this divided city, the folks in the cafe were blunt.
I don't care what color he is, it's wrong what they're doing.
But take a look at the chairs of the 3 members of city council who voted back in May to bring this guy back to work in the first place. They were all empty. They were no-shows at the June meeting. No quorum, no meeting.
Why are they hiding?
Okay, wonderful question.
Thank you. It was a good question.
Maybe they were just scared of me, but this clearly coordinated dereliction of duty, it wasn't just an insult to Crockett taxpayers. It could be a crime, a violation of the Texas Open Meetings Act.
There will not be a meeting tonight. I just filed a public complaint with our police chief on the other 3 council members.
And we've now asked under state law to see all the text messages and all the phone records that day between those 3 no-shows. We'll hold our breath till we get them.
Daryl, are you home? Well, I know you're home.
We did find Councilman Jones. He was holed up in a house with the TV on, just a couple of blocks from City Hall. He misses a lot of city council meetings. He's been called out before.
I want to talk to Daryl Jones, who has missed over 90% of the meetings and lives out of state. You only attend meetings if it concerns the executive director.
Public records we've examined show Jones lists an address in Mississippi as his home address. We called him days before our visit to Crockett, questioning his legal residency. The Texas Rangers should too.
Well, you have a good day, because I don't believe who you are. Have a blessed day.
Jones' recall should be the next thing on the agenda in this town. We also went to see Mr. Gentry, the guy who's made all that tax money for not working. He wouldn't answer the door either.
Wayne Dolcefino, will you come out and talk to me?
Guess not.
You're on the taxpayer's dime. Don't you think you should talk to me?
They called the cops. The first of my 2 criminal trespass warnings was coming. Mr. Jones asked for one too.
Is there anyone else that I've been warned against going to see?
At this time, these are the only 2 locations that have been requested.
We'll try to find another one.
An editorial in the town newspaper was simply blunt and brutal, quoting, "To dismiss any and all criticism, because it must be racism, is no way to live your life. You are the power now. There is no secret power structure holding you down. It's not 1964, and no one is pushing anyone to the back of the bus."
I want to see our community heal. Forget color, forget race. Think about what is actually right to do.
Well, Davy, it looks like you've done it again.